Welcome to another edition of the College Basketball Net Profit Show, Monday, December 12th. Ian Cameron and Conor Mack with a very light slate of college basketball today on the show. We will talk about all the marquee games are basically going to be the 8 games that we've got on the main board, if you will, and then we'll throw out some opinions from the added games, and we'll get on out of here. It'll be a short show. We'll start with Yale and Fairfield here on the Monday edition. We've got Yale 4.5-point road favorites here, 126 the total. Situational bet for me. I took Fairfield plus the points. Yale's off the big game against Kentucky. I thought they gutted it out. It was one of my winners on a rather up and down Saturday for me, I'll be honest, with the college basketball betting board. Up some wins, some losses. Could have been better, but one of the wins was Yale plus the points, getting a big number against Kentucky. And now they got to go from Kentucky. They got to go up to the Northeast now, take on this Fairfield Stags team. It could be a letdown spot after putting a lot of effort and energy into that game against Kentucky and Lexington over the weekend. And Fairfield's got that potential in them to, be stingy defensively at times. They haven't been great this year, 4-6 straight up, but they are 2-0 here on their home floor this year. Again, the competition hasn't been necessarily great, but the one thing we can get from Fairfield at times is some solid defense. Their offense is very, very suspect. That's the concern here. Whether they'll be able to score enough. But I think situationally here, signs point toward Fairfield potentially being a live home dog in a pretty obvious flat spot for Yale after 2 big games in a row on the road against Butler and Kentucky. So I took Fairfield here plus the points. Conor, how about you? Yale, Fairfield.
Yeah, I guess you could call it a little bit flat spot after, the Kentucky game. And they played well again and hung around, covered there. Yeah, the better offensive team. This one was tough for me because I think they play to their ability. They win and cover. And I don't know what to make of Fairfield. The Towson win's good, but I don't know. Some of these other games, Manhattan, they lost, and they can't score. The team struggles to score. And we know Yale's defense has been good. Yale can score it a little bit more, but their defense has been solid. I like the under. I know it's 126. I don't know if there's any 126.5s out there. I like the under here a little bit, and I think you like Fairfield. You gotta like the under because this team struggles to score a little bit. I worry it could just get over, that this might just be a little bit too low, but both teams have been really good to the under, and I think it continues. So I'm going to stay off the side here, and I'm just going to go with the under 126.
All right, next up, we've got Monmouth and Syracuse. Syracuse 23-point home favorites, 139.5 the total. Not a spot I'm looking to lay points with Syracuse after the Georgetown game, and I just don't trust them as real big favorites of this size. You look at their previous, matchups against as double-digit favorites. They've been hit or miss. They did cover against Northeastern and Lehigh, but they've also had some losses as favorites outright on this floor against Bryant and Colgate. Monmouth is no good, though. I mean, as much as I usually like to go against Syracuse, laying this many points, I will not take Monmouth. They're that bad. They're atrocious. They're another team that cannot score, a team that defensively is not very good either. They're really brutal on both ends of the floor. So there's no redeeming qualities. It's a total rebuild season for King Rice. Pass for me. I mean, I'm not laying this with Syracuse, and I don't want Monmouth. Pretty easy pass for me. What do you think, Conor?
Real quick. Hey, Cameron. Sucked. I'd still take it again. I don't trust Texas State. So, yeah, I know, 6-point loss. But it is what it is, my man. We do this daily, lots of games. Yeah, so I don't know what to tell you. Back at it again. Yesterday was good. Let's get to it. I'd lay it here with Syracuse. Monmouth's horrible. This team has just been pathetic. They can't get past 65. I mean, they've been blown up by Ryder. You just go through it. Illinois, just team after team. Has beat them up. I think, it's gone up to 23 here, but I still think Syracuse takes care of business. I looked at the team total. If you can still get 82.5 out there, maybe 83, I think Syracuse gets over that. I think they almost could get 90 tonight. Princeton just got 91, I believe, that last game against Monmouth. So I'm leaning more to the team total, but I still think they cover the number here. So team total with the Qs.
Yes, definitely. I think if you're going to bet something in this game, that might be it. Then you don't have to worry about laying the points. Just bank on Syracuse getting the points that they need to go up and over that point.
Most teams have got it. I believe like Cornell, I was going through everything earlier. They've gotten over this, 82. So I think it's good.
Yeah, definitely. I could see them getting over that point total. All right, Rice and Texas. Texas 24.5 point home favorites, 141.5 the total. Look, obviously, we heard the news this morning. Chris Beard, felony charge for abuse. We think in turn, we think it was involving his uh, boyfriend of a daughter, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. I think that's what I've heard in terms of who he might have been violent against. But either way, it's a physically assaulted somebody, and now he's been charged for it. And look, we got to throw that out. Obviously, it's personal business. Very unfortunate because look, I like this Texas team a lot, and I like Chris Beard as a coach. I hate to see if he's some kind of scumbag character off the court. I hope if he beat the shit out of somebody, it's for a damn good reason. But we don't know that yet. We don't know all the facts. We don't know all the details. All we can do is how is this going to play into tonight? Normally in a spot like this, I guess if this was another team playing on the same night where they find out their head coach just got arrested for assault, that maybe it would throw them off. But Rice is just so bad. They really are. I mean, they don't defend anybody. They don't defend anything. That's concerning here with Texas when they can throw so many different great offensive players at you, which has to concern Rice greatly going into this game. But they're not a good defensive team. Rice probably, in theory, should have their way. Obviously, Timmy Allen, Marcus Carr, Tyrese Hunter, Dylan Mitchell. The Christian Bishop comes in too from Creighton. I mean, it's just a very, very good depth-laden basketball team, especially offensively. So I'm not going to bet this game because I'm certainly not, after what we heard today with Chris Beard, going to lay 24.5. But I'm not sure Rice is going to be in a situation where we're going to trust them to slow down Texas. As far as, by the way, I want to point out the guy that's going to be, I guess, the interim head coach tonight while Chris Beard's dealing with his shit off the floor. It's going to be Rodney Terry. It's someone who's been around the block, certainly, in terms of coaching in college basketball. So it's not like this guy is not capable of running the bench, from a coaching standpoint, at least for a game or two while Chris Beard's away. So this is a pass for me. Total pass all around. Connor, what do you think? Rice, Texas.
I'm going to pass too. Texas, if they're on here, they should just take care of business. I don't know how much the Beard in a game like this, against Rice, if their head's on right, they should get it done. Yeah, first half, I think so. Rice, just their schedule, the opponents, some of these teams they played, they've looked all right. But, when Texas is on, they should, top 3-4 team in the country. So I'm not going to lay it either. I mean, I could see them winning 80-50, but I could also see this creep the number if their heads aren't on straight. So I'm going to pass.
All right, we've got South Florida and Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa now 2.5 3-point home favorites, 128. I grabbed South Florida. I don't bet South Florida often. I took the points here with South Florida. And I don't like what I'm seeing from Northern Iowa in the home favorite role. And they're actually only 1-3 against the spread at home this year. That was just a pathetic loss against McNeese State. Pathetic. The other night. I mean, 15.5-point favorites on Friday night. They lose 52-49. The offense went completely dormant in that game. This has been a weird season for this team. There's some games they haven't shot the ball well at all, and then there's other games where they've gotten absolutely crushed defensively. So they have been all over the map. I'm not the biggest fan of South Florida necessarily, but I've seen some improvement from them. They gave UAB a pretty solid game. They beat St. Joe's. Won and covered against St. Francis Brooklyn, lost by 6 against UMass, which was a solid effort, and then they beat up on Charleston Southern 79-59. The defense has been good. They're better in the underdog role than they are obviously laying points, and that really has shown this year. Dogs against Auburn, they lost by 8 as 19.5-point dogs in that game. 16-point underdogs against UAB, they get inside the number there. They were 2-point underdogs against St. Joe's. They won that game outright. It's a good team to take points with. It's been a horrible team to lay points with, USF, but we're taking against a Northern Iowa team that has been more bad than good the last few games. So I'm on the Bulls here, South Florida plus the 3. What do you think, Connor?
Both teams struggle to score at times. Let's touch on Northern Iowa. Last game, that game you were talking about, me turned it over a ton, almost 20 times. And when they can't shoot it, they can't shoot it. In other games, they've been red hot, but both these teams barely shoot over 30 from 3, aren't very good. This total is a little low. I lean under at 128. Yeah, I'm not going to lay any points with Northern Iowa. Not right now. I'd lean to South Florida too, but man, I don't want that team either. So I'm off here.
Right, off this game here is Connor. All right, we move to Northern Illinois and Gonzaga. We've got Gonzaga 31.5, 32-point home favorites here. Huge number, 153.5, 154 being the total in this game. Just when you look at this matchup on paper with Northern Illinois and Gonzaga tonight in this game, it's one of those situations where Gonzaga should score at will against NIU here. Northern Illinois is not a very good defensive team, and they've been particularly bad when they've gone up against fast-paced, transition-based, offensive teams, and they're clearly going to get that here from Gonzaga in this game. And I was impressed with that second half against Washington for Gonzaga Friday night. Really took control of the game. They ended up winning 77-60 in that one. And again, with this Northern Illinois team, I mean, they've given up some just hideous numbers at times this year to some of their recent opponents. 88 points to Sam Houston State, 84 points to Idaho in their last game. And keep in mind, Idaho is like a poor man's Gonzaga. Push pace, pretty good offensively, can be lethal in transition, but still they're nowhere near the level of skill, ability, and talent that Gonzaga has. And here's Northern Illinois giving up 84 to Idaho. So you can only imagine, how many points Gonzaga. This is a team total that I like. And, I'm not a big team total better in college basketball, but this is one, and you mentioned maybe Syracuse team total, Connor, earlier. I'd look at maybe Gonzaga team total over here in this. I really don't know where the stops are going to come from. It's a bad matchup. They've struggled in transition defense, and that's the place you do not want to be when you're facing Gonzaga. I understand the team total is 93.5, huge number. Wouldn't shock me, though, if Gonzaga hits 100, honestly, in this game. They got 84, or they gave up 84 Northern Illinois against Idaho. What on earth could Gonzaga do? So I think even at 93.5, I think you could get there with an over team total on the Bulldogs tonight. What do you think here, Connor Mack, Northern Illinois, Gonzaga?
You might be right. I'm not going to play this game, though. They probably do win. Maybe if you can look first half, I think it's 45. I think Gonzaga takes it to them here. Full game might even get over, too. I mean, that depends if Gonzaga gets that team total over. Northern Illinois get to 60. I think so. So I lean over, too. They can't stop anybody at times, and this should be a cakewalk here for the Zags.
Here, probably the game of the night, just by default. It's probably this one, Creighton and Arizona State. We've got Creighton 3-point favorites here, 142. The total's gone up, and I agree. You're going to get pace. Both teams. They're going to play above average tempo. I agree with the move to the over, first of all, and I did bet that, although now you're not getting as good a number, 142, 142.5. I still think it goes over the total. I think at some point, you've got to believe Creighton's not going to keep. I mean, I've been stunned what we've seen offensively all of a sudden from Creighton. And I know the big guy, Kalkbrenner, didn't play on Saturday against BYU, but still, to see that team just sputter offensively like they did was stunning to me. But it also shows you how much they miss that guy because he's a big part of their offense. They don't want to be just guard-oriented. They want to work their offense in the paint area, and Kalkbrenner is obviously a huge part of that when it comes to Creighton. So, and he's questionable at best to play tonight because he's still dealing with the injury or the illness that he's got rather going into this game. So he missed Saturday. I'm not expecting him in there tonight. There's always a chance maybe late addition that he ends up playing, but I don't think he will. I'm kind of with what our guy MMA Locker Room is saying. Until Creighton shows you a turnaround, I think you have to, by default, lean to taking the points here on a neutral court with the Arizona State Sun Devils in this game. And I did. I do like Arizona State from a side perspective as well in this game. It's a good matchup, but when you look at it, Ryan Nembhard, the point guard, but I've been impressed with Frankie Collins, the point guard spot for Arizona State. It's been a good matchup there. I think the two Cambridge, with Kalkbrenner potentially out tonight too, Cambridge brothers could really do some damage for Arizona State tonight in this game as well, down in the low post against Creighton. And I think that could prove to be the difference. Rebounding edge should go to the Sun Devils. I'm not the biggest Bobby Hurley fan, but I got to give him credit where credit's due. He's done a nice little coaching job early in the season here with Arizona State. I definitely look to them plus the points. Also the over in this one. I got a better number, but I still like it at 142. What do you think here, Connor?
Total's pretty interesting. You mentioned to the over, it's gone up, which I get. Has it's gone too far? Because if Arizona State, you like them, I think they muck this game up. And they've been a great under team so far this year. Their defense has been solid. So will it still get there? Maybe. On the other side, Creighton has it. You mentioned Kalkbrenner, out. I heard whatever he's got, there's a flu and going around that team. They just haven't looked good, and they looked horrible. This team didn't shoot it that well. Minus 21 in the rebound against BYU team. Johnson wasn't in. A team that was struggling, just lost to Utah Valley by 15. Hadn't been playing, just shocking. So I don't want them right now. He's questionable whether he goes or not. So I don't want them at all. So I agree with you here. To me, it's just Arizona State or don't play this one. Creighton's been good on neutral floors, all this other stuff, but I just don't want them right now the way they've been playing.
All right, we've got a Battle of San Diego here. UC San Diego, the Tritons, taking on the San Diego Toreros here. San Diego, 6-point favorites, 139.5. Lots of money on UCSD, and I think there's a reason for that. I mean, San Diego was, first of all, San Diego has not been good so far the last few games, and especially at the defensive end of the court. There's been some shoddy efforts from them in terms of defending lately. They've fallen to 5-5. They're only 2-4 against the spread at home. They're now laying a significant number. They got shredded defensively by New Mexico State, Nicholls State. UNLV put up a 95 spot. Cal Baptist 76-73 win over San Diego over the weekend. 0-5 ATS their last 5 games. So I totally agree with this money move toward the underdog here, the UC San Diego Tritons. I think it's the right move. It's a struggling Toreros team. They can't defend right now. I'm a little puzzled the total's gone down, though. I don't agree with that. San Diego's not defending right now. Look at these recent results. Not exactly a team playing good on the defensive end of the basketball court. In terms of line games, they have gone 6-2 to the over this season. UC San Diego, above average the last couple of games. Struggled early in the season offensively, but we've started to see them pick it up. And quite honestly, with this total now being in the 130s down to 139.5, I think it's plenty low enough that we could find ourselves getting up and over the total. So I like over 139.5, and I like the underdog, UC San Diego as well. Connor, Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because it's moved already, to basically 6.
Yeah, this is a recording. This line has moved, like so many of them by the time we do this show.
Yeah, I know. It's just if you got 9, I think you feel good. I'm not so sure. San Diego's played a little bit tougher schedule, but they haven't defended like you were talking about. They just haven't got it done. And one thing with UC San Diego, Bryce Pope, he can score, and that might keep him in this and cover the number. So I still lean it a little bit at 6-6, 6.5. I don't love it that much. We know UC San Diego wants to slow it down a little bit, but I don't know about this total. I mean, I'm off.
All right, New Mexico and San Francisco now. This is the last game on our marquee games, and then we'll rip through the 5 added board games. No Q&A today. Okay, don't even bother with Q&A because we're going to just go quickly, hit the quick hitter through the added board games, and then we'll get to best bets to wrap it up. New Mexico, 4-point road favorites, 156 the total. This is another one where, I like the over. I still like the over, but I wish you guys that are going to be hopefully tailing us on some of these plays, I just wish you could have bet 153 with this total like I did, not the 156 that's out there right now. But we should absolutely see points, and more points. New Mexico, 31 in the country in tempo, 37th in offensive efficiency. This Lobos team flat out gets up and down the court, scores very efficiently, and they have done so all season long. Meanwhile, San Francisco, 25th tempo in the country this year. Certainly they are continuing, even with Todd Golden gone. Still, they're playing that same similar style. Should see quite a bunch of points in this game. I like it to go over the total. Keep in mind, New Mexico, I was on the over with their game against UTSA over the weekend, and that one ended up with 170 points, flew way over the total in that game. I think you're going to see probably something similar here. Keep in mind, there's been a couple unders with San Francisco, but a lot of them were against either offensively challenged teams or teams that are going to be looking to slow things down. And that's clearly not going to be the case tonight. You're going to get plenty of transition basketball from both teams, and agree with the total move going up here. New Mexico taking money too, and they probably are a little bit better than San Francisco, but I don't know if I'd want to lay 4 in a game where you're probably going to see better offense than defense on both sides. I'm sticking more to the total. If anything, now there might be some value on the Dons now that they're getting 4. And keep in mind, this game is at Michelob Ultra Arena, a neutral setting. What do you think here, Connor, with New Mexico, San Francisco?
New Mexico, yeah, can flat score, but this neutral at Michelob here, Mandalay Bay, I don't know. The total might be too high. A little bit. San Francisco can struggle to score at times. I've seen in some of their games that I've been watching. I lean to New Mexico a little bit. It is at 4. I don't know what to make of San Francisco so far. A little bit. Like at this point, I'd like to back them, but I don't know if 4 is enough. And now this is high. I'm off the total. I'd be on the under if I had to bet it.
Ball guard play. The guards on both of these teams are really, really good. And I think you're going to see that play out here, definitely. So you're right. Neutral court's the one little fly in the ointment sometimes with overs, especially when you're talking high totals like this, in the high 150s. But still, certainly from a matchup standpoint, it sure looks like it's going to be kind of a back and forth over fiesta. Yeah, and I'd, as much as I think the line's getting up there with New Mexico, do I want to step in front of a team that's played like they have so far? They played very well. They're 9-0. You can quibble a little bit about the schedule, how tough it's been, but all you can do is play who you played. And New Mexico has looked very impressive here early in the season.
Yeah,
I guess the toughest game we played was SMU, and SMU's been kind of way and St. Mary's. St. Mary's was actually a good win. They went out right as dogs on the road and still got to almost 70 points against a great defensive team. So, no, there's everything to like about New Mexico so far.
I was just going to mention the St. Mary's game, but other than that, the schedule hasn't been that great, but they've taken care of business. I've had them a few times already, and they roll.
All right, so there we go, and that's exactly why. Yeah, I'm not stepping in front of New Mexico. They haven't given me any reason to at this point in time. All right, so that's the main board. That's the marquee games. Quick hitters, Connor Mack through the added board here. Sacred Heart, Stony Brook. In terms of this game, I like points in this game here a little bit with the over taking some money. Both teams have kind of been up and down offensively, but matchup-wise, and look, both teams getting healthier, especially in terms of their key offensive contributors, and especially Stony Brook. You know, Stony Brook to me looks like a team where I think after all the injuries, all the suspensions, they've had a brutal schedule too. You look at some of the teams Stony Brook has played, it's been a tough schedule for them. I think they've got an opportunity here to maybe get a little healthier. You know, they're back home, Sacred Heart. You know, it's a winnable game after facing so many tough teams. I think Stony Brook as a home dog is live in this one. I think now you're getting a chance to buy low on a team that I think is their best basketball is yet to come as they continue to get better. So I like Conor +2, or not Conor, Stony Brook +2, and liking the over as well in that one. Because I think Stony Brook, a little bit of a buy low situation on them. I have nothing on Columbia Lafayette. South Alabama, Alabama A&M. That one I have a smaller bet on the over, but I don't like it quite as much as some of the others. Liberty and Oral Roberts should be interesting. I actually think the number's cheap on Oral Roberts. I mean, Liberty to me has kind of been underwhelming at times this year, and it's definitely a pace war. Liberty wants to slow it down, and Oral Roberts wants to go extremely fast. So I left the game alone, but now with the number coming down to 2.5, I kind of think I lean to Oral Roberts a little bit in that one. And San Diego State, Kennesaw State. San Diego State really should roll and name their number here. They're not always a team you trust laying big points, but you know, after losing to St. Mary's on the neutral court, you know, coming back home, they should be able to take care of business here against Kennesaw State. But I don't know if I'll lay 19.5, but I lean to the Aztecs there as home favorites in that one. So that's the added board for me. Connor Mack, those 5 games on the added board, what do you like?
I don't have much. Stony Brook, I think can get it done as a home dog. Over, too. I do like the over in that game. Going down, Oral Roberts here. I know Liberty wants to slow it down. I think Oral Roberts is a little bit better basketball team in this one. And at 2.5. I lean that way, and I think there'll be points. Even with Oral Roberts, Liberty wants to slow down. It could get over. And the last one, Kennesaw. This team, San Diego State, shot it horrible against St. Mary's, especially in that second half. Couldn't get anything. I lean under there. It would have been nice here, 140, 139. You got 137.5 everywhere. And I think they come out great, but I can't, this team right now, I don't want to lay points with San Diego State. They should beat this team, but they're just a team I can't lay a number with. So I'm going to be off.
All right. Yeah, I like the spot for them off the loss, but you're right. They've not been great
Me
laying
too,
bigger
yeah.
points, and no question about that. In fact, I was against San Diego State as bigger favorites recently on this show. I took Troy plus the points, and of course, Troy was able to get the job done. But Troy, I think, is a little better than Kennesaw. We'll see if San Diego State can bounce back tonight in this one. Great stuff with Conor Mack, and thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us as you do each and every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern right here on College Basketball Net Profit. Hit the like button. We're only on 3 days this week throughout the week. Tomorrow we'll be back on, and Wednesday we'll have a show as well. But Thursday and Friday, the card is even lighter than it is today. So we're not even going to bother with the shows on Thursday and Friday this week. So we'll be off those 2 days. And we will have a show Saturday, though, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. It is a monster slate in college basketball on Saturday. So make sure you join us then with me, Conor Mack, and Dabby Cab. We'll be with you again. Dabby Cab did a nice job, actually, with his picks on Saturday on the College Basketball Net Profit show. So great stuff from him with his card on Saturday. So that's the schedule this week. We'll be back with you tomorrow and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll have the Saturday show at 10 a.m. Eastern this weekend as well. Hit the like button. We will get to best bets in just a second, right after we hear from Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, and manscaped.com. Promo code PubSports, 20% off your purchase. Lawnmower 4.0 or any Manscaped product with promo code PubSports. All right, best bets for this Monday, this light Monday card here in college basketball. Conor Mack, what do you like for best bet?
Real quick to Rodney, yeah, that San Diego State game was 39.5. It's dropped 2 points. That's why I didn't get on it. But, yeah, it's moved. I'm under, like I talked about. Syracuse, team total over 82.5. They should get that easy. They should score 90 points tonight. Lone other one, and I'm going to bet it. I didn't love it's 126, but under Yale, Fairfield, under 126.
There you go. Yale and Fairfield to go under 126. Best bet for Conor Mack on this Monday college basketball slate.
And the Qs.
And the Qs. Yeah, team total over. Yeah, because they really should be able to score their share of points tonight in that one. All right, my best bet, going back and forth. I really, hours ago, was going to use Creighton and Arizona State over. And I like Arizona State too. I'm not going to use that, though, as best bet. I am instead going to use South Florida +3 against Northern Iowa. I just think Northern Iowa is tough run right now for them. South Florida, very capable. I think they get the job done. I'm not sure there's a bounce back for Northern Iowa after what I saw against McNeese State. That's a beyond bad loss for them. And South Florida's starting to get a little bit better, and they've been very good in the underdog role this year. South Florida Bulls +3 for my best bet for this Monday card. That'll wrap up this edition of the College Basketball Net Profit Show. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. I will be back on tonight. My day's not done just yet. My busy Monday as we have New England Patriots, Arizona Cardinals, NFL live bet stream tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on for the first half as usual on Monday nights. So join us for that later on. For Conor, Mac, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll see you again tomorrow on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, right here for another edition of the College Basketball Net Profit Show right here on Pub Sports Radio.